California, the first sellout crowd in 2 years, hoping the UC Davis Aggies can stay perfect at home and stay tied atop the standings in the Big West Conference. It's a UC Davis team picked 7th in the preseason poll, but a win tonight will keep pace with Long Beach State. The 49ers have already beaten Hawaii earlier today. UC Irvine will host UC Santa Barbara this evening. Inside the pavilion with former Oregon State point guard Lamar Hurd, I am Paul Leffler. And Lamar, what an opportunity to see a team that has taken the Big West by storm this year.
Yeah, it is. And, you know, for Cal Poly, let's talk about them. They got to limit their turnovers. They're second best in Division I basketball in doing that at 8.5. But for UC Davis, shooter, you're going to hear that a whole lot tonight. The best three-point shooting team, and it's led by Corey Hawkins. You look at the numbers, Paul, and he's able to do this because he can put it on the floor, get a shot, create space. They share the basketball. If it's just a catch and shoot, you can count it. It's going to be a knockdown.
5th in the nation in scoring at 21.2, but his dad Hersey scored 36 a game his final year for the Bradley Braves. So family bragging rights not there just yet. The opponent here inside the pavilion, where the Aggies haven't lost all year, last year's Big West Tournament darling Cal Poly Mustangs. David Nwaba, their leading scorer, but in conference play, Joel Awich in the front court has really turned it on.
Awich has been doing a good job, and Joe Calero, the coach for Cal Poly, he's talked about playing a traditional 3-out, 2-in that allows Awich and Nwaba to get theirs on the inside.
And on the UC Davis side of things, their coach is a former NBA three-point marksman in Jim Les. All these guys can shoot the three just about, and they get Josh Richard back after he missed the last game against UCSB with a shoulder injury.
And Richard, Paul, he gives him that option to pick and pop. You know, he's a big guy, but he can operate on a perimeter.
4 fifth-year seniors who get regular playing time for Jim Les, 7-year NBA pro. His most memorable years with the Sacramento Kings. Sacramento just minutes away to the east. Jim and his family love this community, and you'll see his son Tyler by the time we're done. That's Joe Calero, who of course had that great quote last March. Once they got into the big dance, he said, hey, if we win the national championship, we'll finish 500.
What an optimistic way to look at it. But as I said, I mean, this team, they take care of the basketball, and they defend with the best of them. And they're going to have to do that because you don't want this UC Davis crowd getting into this game early. They're already crazy.
The pavilion is rocking, and the Aggies get the opening tip. UC Davis and the home whites against the green-clad Mustangs of Cal Poly. Corey Hawkins, top three-point shooter in America, has the ball in his hands. On the pick and roll. Denrelay underneath. And Awich, who leads the Mustangs in blocks, got a piece of that as JT Denrelay tried to power up.
Great help defense. And there you saw the effect of Hawkins. I mean, he came off a simple ball screen, and you have to hedge and turn it back. He took 2 guys with him and got a nice pass to his teammate.
And goes right back to Hawkins. Now Darius Brand, the sophomore point guard from here in the Sacramento area. Cal Poly tries a little zone.
And that's where they have to be careful. They're playing, as we've said, the best three-point shooting team that there is. You have to mark every guy outside the perimeter.
Hawkins forces one up to beat the shot clock. Corey Hawkins.
He put his hands up as though to signal, hey, I'll take it if I can get it, but Corey, you're the best three-point shooter there is. You got to expect those to drop every once in a while.
And if you're Cal Poly, how do you defend that?
You can't.
First opportunity for the Mustangs. Malik Love with the penetration. Would not go. But another opportunity for Cal Poly. Awich. And the rebound to Richard. That ball moves around the perimeter a lot here in this building when UC Davis has the ball.
And now you see Cal Poly going back to the man-to-man, but you have to mark so many different shooters. You cannot have a lapse on the defensive end.
45% on the season as a team, and 2 for 2 tonight. A 6-0 start for the Aggies. Awich off the dribble. The side of the backboard, and here comes Hawkins.
That was just terrific individual defense.
Well, whose turn is it now? We've seen Hawkins, we've seen Richard. There are times Jim Les has 5 guys on the floor that can all shoot that three. Here's Richard on the baseline. And Nwaba high for the board. Nwaba, a guy that can really make a difference for Cal Poly.
He can, defensively and offensively. He's a physical force. great athlete. And he's going to look to operate around the basket as much as he can.
Had it knocked away on the spin by Adenrele. Here comes Avery Johnson in transition. In case you're wondering, Avery Johnson, not related to the other Avery Johnson, as Hersey Hawkins' son misses the top of the key three.
So far, so good on the defensive end for UC Davis.
Ridge Shipley getting the start in the Cal Poly backcourt tonight in place of Michael Bolden, who had started 8 straight. Here's Awich, likes that perimeter game, but the box out by Richard.
Not a bad shot from Awich, but I think he's doing UC Davis a favor every time he gets away from the basket.
UC Davis keeps the possession alive. Richard again. Oh, it wouldn't fall. And Joe Calero wants a timeout. He's seen 3 minutes of basketball, and he wants to slow it down and have a low-scoring game, but not this low-scoring.
Well, Joe Calero isn't as concerned with the result as you saw that last missed three, but here we see a tough three-point shot from Hawkins. Puts his hands up and acts like he doesn't know how he did it. He's the best three-point shooter there is, and there's Richard. And right before that timeout, we saw Richard miss a three, and that's why Joe Calero called the timeout, because he was wide open. And he doesn't want those kind of defensive miscues. He knows they have to get out to shooters, and they don't want to allow UC Davis to just see open baskets.
Corey Hawkins, #1 in the Big West, #5 in the nation in scoring. He's gotten better each year. And who passed the ball to Richard on that three? Corey Hawkins, another part of his game that's really stepped up.
He's been working on facilitating. He's been working on his leadership and his defense. We talked to him earlier today and asked him, what was the emphasis of your off-season regimen? And he said, I had to get better on the defensive end. You know, I know I'm going to score the basketball, but I have to defend, and I got to set the tone on that side of the ball for my team.
So Cal Poly still looking for its first bucket. Ridge Shipley handling the point, sophomore out of Texas. With the biggest shot of the season last year for the Mustangs to propel them to the big dance. Feeds it into the post. Brian Bennett up to Love. Love not a guy who looks for a shot much, but Shipley can. With the shot clock winding down. Cal Poly still 25 feet out. 4 to shoot. Bennett to beat it. Got it.
So a great job from Bennett to space as the ball was penetrated his direction.
Bennett, a guy who gets physical down low, but has that toughness on the perimeter. And finally, Cal Poly breaks the ice. Hawkins drawing the double team. Now Adenrele on the block. Nearly turned it over. But UC Davis will hold on to the basketball. The one loss for the Aggies came at Hawaii, which is where Cal Poly surprised a lot of people by winning in overtime to start the conference season.
What a competitive conference. And we talked to both coaches about that prior to tonight's game.
Wouldn't fall for Adenrele.
Both coaches, Paul, mentioning that this thing could go either way. Any team could be competitive on any given night. For UC Davis, though, they've shown to be dominant here at home.
Bennett with back-to-back buckets for the Mustangs, and that time he just took Richard right to the bucket.
Bennett, a very good field goal percentage shooter, has shot 60% in 6 of his 19 games this season, and we've seen him space the floor from 15 feet and also get to the paint with a nice jump hook.
Hawkins hasn't looked for a shot since making that early one, and now a turnover. We'll have it back in Cal Poly hands when we come back. The Aggies scored the first 6, but the Mustangs are catching up in Davis. ESPN's exclusive presentation of college basketball is brought to you by USAA, proudly serving the financial needs of current and former military members and their families. And by Dish. Only the Hopper from Dish gives you the power to watch all your live and recorded TV anywhere. A 6-4 lead at home for the Aggies of UC Davis, a team that was tied for the Big West lead coming in, but picked 7th in the preseason poll. Maybe 7th isn't such a bad place to be. That's where Cal Poly was going into last year's conference tournament, but came up with a run of upsets. 6-10 in the regular season, knocked off UC Irvine. After knocking off UCSB, the top 2 seeds defeated, then Northridge in the final. First NCAA win against Texas Southern. And Lamar, no shame in being eliminated by Wichita State last year.
None at all. None at all. Very proud season. And speaking to Coach Calero, we asked, what's the formula? We know your team does not turn the basketball over often, and very good on the defensive end. But how do you get your team to get there season in and season out? And he said, it's a point of emphasis, passing and simply catching the basketball. And then when we work our way on the defensive end, keeping your man in front of you and providing help defense. But right now, we're seeing some offense from Cal Poly.
Brian Bennett, all 6 points for the Mustangs. They've scored 6 straight to tie it up. Bennett's season high is 20 in that big overtime win at Hawaii. But Richard left open again, and he makes him pay.
The ball screen, dive, roll-up action is tough to defend because you have to help on the guy that rolls to the basket, but then you have to get more help for the guy that rolls up to the three-point line.
Shipley on the penetration. It's the Davis man-to-man.
Great hedge.
Shipley has Bennett again. No whistle, and Bennett has 8.
Good no call. That was just a good move. There, Adirunle has to stay on his feet. You can't give in that easily.
Aggies by 1. Hawkins has been quiet since that opening bucket. Avery Johnson. The pick and roll. Adenrele denied by Awich. It's his second block already.
What a block.
Cal Poly on an 8-3 run. And it's been all Bennett. Thus the double team. Shipley past Graham to set up Bolden. And Michael Bolden off the Mustang bench has Cal Poly in front for the first time tonight.
And it was set up off the dribble penetration, the drawing of 2 defenders from Shipley, and a nice find.
It's a pretty well-timed timeout by Calero, down 6-0, wasn't it?
Definitely was.
The Mustangs with momentum, a 2-point lead.
Coach Calero said they'll run when it's an opportunistic situation, but otherwise they want to set their offense and get a good look. There they got 2 good looks. The missed layup from Shipley, and then the finish by the big fella Awich.
Joel Awich cleaning up the mess, but Michael Bolden, the senior out of Mission Viejo, off the bench, set up by Shipley and ready to launch. Coach Calero said, hey, when Shipley and Bolden hit threes, we can beat anybody. And Joel Awich cleans it up.
Yeah, Paul, you just want to get paint touches. That time we see Shipley with his first paint touch, the kick out to the shooter. Next time gets back to the paint, misses a layup, but a good shot allows for a high chance at an offensive rebound and an easy putback by Awich.
What a crowd here in Davis. First sellout of the season, first in a couple of years, 2 seasons ago when Long Beach State came in. Another national TV game on the ESPN family of networks. They packed the place. Joe Calero takes great pride in Cal Poly, 5 years running being the top defensive team in the Big West Conference.
You can take your defense everywhere you go. You know, it's easy to shoot well at home when you have the crowd behind you. But when you travel, your defense is what you can put in a suitcase and bring with you. And so far, Cal Poly has bought it tonight.
See UC Davis #1 in scoring in conference play. UC Davis, the #1 3-point shooting team in America, #4 shooting team overall, but just 2 for its first 9 tonight at home. Couple subs off the Aggie bench. Josh Fox and Neil Monson ready to bruise down low. Patient with the shot clock. Tyler West, the coach's son, right there as well. Here's Monson, blocked by Bennett. Check down, it's Alex Abrams who just checked in.
Good disciplined defense from Abrams.
Cal Poly able to grab momentum early. Loves penetration. Out to Abrams, who's not going to shoot it. 4 for 30 on the season.
But he got the 4 somewhere.
Bolden again, fouled on a 3-point shot. Tyler Less, the coach's son, committing a cardinal sin. But let's go back to the other end, Lamar. The defense by Cal Poly.
This is good disciplined defense. They're going one-on-one. You don't want to leave the ball side shooter because it's Hawkins and hands straight up. Leads to that block.
Alex Abrams is a load. He's really helped them defensively all year. A big freshman from Oaks Christian High in Southern California as Bolden drills the foul shot. Boy, it was 6-0 UC Davis. Since then, 14-3 run for Cal Poly.
Ever since that timeout that you referenced to, Joe Calero saw some breakdowns on the defensive end that he wasn't happy with and knew that if they can right the ship early on, you take this crowd out of the game, score some baskets, now you have a chance at this thing.
Bolden has only missed once at the line in conference play, and he keeps it that way. A 7-point Mustang lead on a floor where the Aggies have not lost all season.
You know Corey Hawkins is going to get his leading scorer for the team, but he's seeing two defenders every time he comes off the screen. Somebody else for Davis is going to have to step up and make some baskets.
Well, Neil Monson answering the call, coming off a career game against UC Santa Barbara last time out. He has his first deuce.
That time Monson went a lot stronger at the finish.
I'm sure you did that every time down after your shot got blocked. Right?
Oh, you had to. You had to go back and prove a point, Paul.
Awich wants it on the baseline. Double team comes, and Hawkins has a steal. Fifth-year senior Corey Hawkins started out his career at Arizona State. Well, UC Davis, for a team that scores as much as the Aggies do, are pretty patient, aren't they? Josh Fox plus the foul.
They wanted to get the best look, and they got it.
Josh Fox off the bench with a bucket for UC Davis. He's their third leading scorer on the season. But for all the offense from UC Davis, how about the D from the visitors from San Luis Obispo? We saw Awich, we saw Abrams, and we see the Mustangs in the lead, 16-13. Josh Fox and the Aggies of UC Davis trailing Cal Poly 16-13. Fox with a bucket before we left. He got to finish, but how about the fifth-year senior savvy of Tyler Less with the delivery?
Terrific pass, and it came off the dribble handoff action. When Les comes off of this, you know he's a shooter, so you have to step up if you're that big, and Les finds the steam, gets the pass to his big guy.
Tyler Less is a shooter just like his dad, who's on the right in that photo, and on the left, Percy Hawkins, National Player of the Year at Bradley when he averaged 36 a game.
And how about the short shorts? The old days.
And then, of course, they both, those former Bradley teammates, Hawkins and Les, made it to the NBA. Both great three-point shooters. You saw on the left a young Corey Hawkins, on the right a young Tyler Less. Now they're both fifth-year seniors playing for Jim Les. And when Jim Les got this job after leaving Bradley, Percy Hawkins called him up. Said, hey, I think my son wants to transfer from Arizona State. And Les really had to think long and hard about taking him, didn't
he? He said, Hersey, I'm waiting on you. Okay, we got open arms for him whenever he's ready to come. But that shows how significant that relationship is for Hersey to know that he could call Coach Les and put his son in his care. You know, that's a big deal.
And next year, it's a good chance we'll see Corey Hawkins follow in his father's footsteps. Hersey Hawkins, 13-year pro, former NBA All-Star, now the director of player personnel for the Portland Trailblazers. You ever been to one of their games?
Oh, it's crazy. It's like being at a UC Davis game.
That's your home turf. All right, here we go. Mustangs 16, Aggies 14. Abrams saves it, and so does Bolden. Shot clock to 10. Penetration. And Bennett gets the whistle he wanted. Neil Monson commits the foul. Sunday on ESPNU, Player of the Year candidate DeLon Wright will lead the number 11 Utah Utes in a tough road test against the Trojans of USC. Utah-USC from the Galen Center Sunday, 2:30 on ESPNU, the home court of college hoops. And on the Aggies' home court, Bennett a little short on that first foul shot. Joe Calero takes pride in recruiting nationally, and he plucked Bennett out of Chicagoland. 9 points for the junior big man of the Mustangs. Is Corey Hawkins being too unselfish for that?
Yeah, I think he's making the right play right now, so I would say no to that. And he's got to wait for his opportunities to open up. But right now, he's seeing two defenders when he catches the basketball. Comes off this ball screen, they're going to hedge.
Blocked from behind by Bolden. The Mustangs throwing the block party in this first half.
Well, Paul, you talked about scouting reports coming into this game. You know Cal Poly had a huge circle. You see another jump shot from Bennett. Now I get why he has shot better than 60% in 6 games already this season.
5 for 5 will help in that department. 11 points for Bennett, and the Mustangs lead by 5.
Well, for Hawkins, his name is the first name circled on the scouting report for Cal Poly. So they're going to watch him very intently, especially early in the game, and they've done so.
Basket interference called on Josh Fox. As Monson's shot hung on the rim, Fox got his finger in the net, and it gives it back to Cal Poly. You see Jim Les. Watching Tyler shoot earlier today. I mean, you talk about spitting image in the same form that was in an NBA three-point shootout. There you go.
And remember what Coach Les was talking about is, you know, he looks at guys' finish on their shots. He said, you know, I don't really care as much how your shot starts out. I've seen all kind of different shots, including Hershey Hawkins. But I look at your finishes, the elbow above the eye, where are the fingertips facing in your shot preparation, and all his players utilize those strategies going into their jump shots.
Malik Love to beat the shot clock, and it's a 3. Only the 3rd 3 he's made all season, and the senior from Oceanside delivers for the Mustangs.
A lot of times, that shot at the end of the shot clock is the easiest because there's no consequence if you miss it.
Yeah, no pressure. Aggies down 8 on their home floor. But Richard left open again, and he is glad to be back.
It's almost impossible to help on that. You're on the left side of the court, the screen takes place, and he doesn't roll to the basket. He pops away from all the help.
Richard made 7 threes against Long Beach State last year. He's made 3 already here. Aggies back within 5. And Bennett has had the hot hand. Shipley.
Big time shot.
Well, we heard all about how excited UC Davis was to welcome national television and sell out, but the Mustangs, coming off disappointment earlier in the week, have really shown up. Hawkins misses a 3, and Shipley the board. And on the floor before the shot from Love, says Tony Padilla, our official. So Cal Poly, a team that shoots 28% from three-point range.
You'd have no idea watching this game. Nice crossover from Love and knocks it down. And Shipley said, I've already been in the paint. Let me operate from behind the line.
Mustangs by 8 in Davis. Super Tuesday presented by Cree LED Lighting. Yogi Ferrell leading the streaky Hoosiers of Indiana against Naismith nominee Frank Kaminsky and the Badgers. Number 22 Indiana, number 5 for now Wisconsin. Monday at 7 on ESPN. No, it's Tuesday at 7 on ESPN. Journey to the Tourney presented by Sonic. So Super Tuesday, we'll get a taste of Frank Kaminsky, who was special today. And Wisconsin might be climbing toward that number 1.
They are. They're a solid team. I mean, Frank Kaminsky could end up being the National Player of the Year if he's able to turn it up another notch, but has all the tools, all the skill set, and they're a defensive team like we're seeing from Cal Poly here tonight.
And Virginia, you see a loss next to the Cavaliers after Duke scored the last 11 to beat UVA, and now Kentucky alone in the ranks of the unbeatens. Top that list. Cal Poly by 8 here with the ball. And Brian Bennett has been absolutely torrid. 5 for 5 from the field, 11 points for the Mustang big man. Love from Awich. Little delayed give and go.
Yeah, great patience though from Awich. He allowed Love to get a step closer to the basket before he made the pass, and there was no resistance once Love caught the basketball.
The Mustangs with a double-digit lead on the road. Richard fouled on the perimeter by Awich. Malik Love, an unheralded senior for Cal Poly.
The ball goes down to Awich. A mini double team comes and then leaves, and Graham turned his head for UC Davis for 1 second, and that's when Love slipped to the basket.
See if the Aggies can find some offense. They have been cold from the floor, a team that shoots 50% on the year, just 6 of its first 17.
That time Cal Poly goes back zone. That's the last thing you want to do if you're Cal Poly, is help a team that's struggling to score the basketball.
The own goal will be credited to Richard, gives him 11 to lead UC Davis. Aggies with an 8. Corey Hawkins off the floor for now for UC Davis. Bennett up against Fox, unstoppable. 13 points, he's 6 for 6.
Bennett's defender went with the ball handler to the corner. Nobody helped the helper.
That turned into a career night for the junior out of Romeoville, Illinois, Brian Bennett. And this will be on Bennett, his first personal.
That possession turned out better for UC Davis, but remember a few possessions ago when the ball was on the left side of the court, they did a ball screen with Richard, and he popped and got the three-point shot. I'd like to see them go to some more of that because it's so tough to defend, and ever since he made that three, they haven't gone back to it.
Corey Hawkins just 1 for 4, is back in the ball game now, leading scorer in the Big West.
Cal Poly back in the zone.
Tyler Less misfires. Rebound to Shipley.
It's not that often you see Tyler Less miss a shot that wide open.
Malik Love averages under 5 a game, and he has 7.
Good screen by Owens.
Could Cal Poly be performing any better?
I don't think so.
It's a team that averages just barely over 60 points a game. He has a 12-point lead on the road. Richard, he is feeling it.
That's the play we were just talking about. Ball on the left side of the floor. You pick and pop with them. All the help defense is on the opposite side of the court. So it's nearly impossible to get over there in time to contest the shot.
Richard's 4 threes helping UC Davis stay within striking distance. Shipley from deep. Bennett had it, and it'll remain with Cal Poly. Another look at Malik Love, who's not known as an offensive threat.
He got the basketball, and you see Alwich down there. He's posting up, but he just uses his body to screen for his teammate. And here, you have to hedge on that screen. And Richard pops, and there's nobody there to help.
The pick and pop has been a big part of the offense for UC Davis. And now a reach by Darius Graham. 14th foul on the Aggies. Mustangs have been whistled for 3. This is a Cal Poly team that didn't just make that tournament run last year. A team that played Gonzaga earlier this year in Seattle and really gave the Zags everything they could handle for most of that game.
Every year, they're playing tough teams. They are not afraid in the non-conference to get out there and mix it up with the nation's best.
Bennett with his first miss earns himself another shot, and that one won't go.
You think he just missed so that he can get on the rebounding part of the box score a little bit?
He's working on the double-double,
it looks like it. Short shot. The guy who shoots it usually knows if it's off or on before anybody else. Bennett first to the basketball. A strong move to go back up and get fouled.
Short on the free throw like he was the first time. Tuning out the deafening roar inside the pavilion to put the Mustangs back up by 10 again.
If Cal Poly's in a man-to-man and I'm UC Davis, I'm going back to that pick and pop option.
Josh Fox had it knocked away by Bennett, but Hawkins recovers. Now a foul on the perimeter. Situation. You talk about the 50-year seniors that Jim Les has. What a luxury, even on a night where so far Corey Hawkins has been cold, and you know we'll see him turn it on, but Richard is there to bail him out.
That's what you expect from your seniors, your juniors, the upperclassmen. You need leadership, and Richard has provided it.
Neil Monson in for him now, and even Monson is listed as a sophomore, but he's 22 years old. He's been on a church mission. His wife's wife Mimi's here in the crowd tonight. Aggies down by 10 on their home floor. Monson against Bennett. Gets the hook.
Cal Poly electing to go one-on-one. They want to make Monson make them pay before they start showing double team and help defense.
Bennett slips down but finds Shipley in time. Shot clock at 10. Shipley against the double team. Awich to beat the shot clock. And the putback by Malik Love.
And did you see Brian Bennett do his work early? As that shot was going up, he was clearing space on the backside, and he was able to tip that basketball to get it to Love.
10-point Mustang lead on the road. Back into Monson. This time with the left. Another rebound for Cal Poly, which is owning the glass early.
That time, the one-on-one defense favored Cal Poly.
And a hand check on the baseline. Nwaba so explosive. And Corey Hawkins still waiting to detonate tonight. Mustangs by 10 in a sold-out pavilion in Davis. ESPN's exclusive presentation of college basketball is brought to you by Energizer Max batteries. All right, thanks, guys. And an upset brewing here in Davis. A UC Davis team unbeaten on the year at home at 9-0, down by 10 with just 3 minutes left in the half. And if you need an explanation, Lamar Hurd, the Aggies are only shooting 39%. And look at that rebounding discrepancy.
17-5. Cal Poly, they're controlling the glass. They're doing a great job on the defensive end. And you see, UC Davis's perfect home record is in jeopardy.
Long Beach State won earlier today over Hawaii. San Diego State holding off Utah State. Those are the only 3 California teams out of 24 Division I schools that haven't lost at home. Brian Bennett has been the man for Cal Poly. 14 points already for the junior, and he's not done. Bennett forcing himself underneath.
That's just a grown man's move. I mean, that time UC Davis goes to some zone look, and Bennett is still able to walk his way to the paint and finish the play.
4 off his season high, 7 away from his career high, and we have 2:40 to go in the first half. Corey Hawkins tied up and a jump ball call. Possession belongs to Cal Poly. Everything belongs to Cal Poly tonight. Let's get another look.
Every time Hawkins catches the basketball, that looks like a somewhat of a solid call. Can't see exactly how much contact there is behind. Hands on the ball first, and then the contact. Maybe that's what the official saw. But every time Hawkins catches the ball, he's seeing 4 eyes. 2 defenders are always eyeing him, and therefore he has to draw, make the open play, soften the defense, and once he gets the one-on-one looks, then that's when it's time to go to work.
Off Monson's foot into the backcourt, so Cal Poly will keep. UC Davis has only won once all year when trailing at half. The Aggies haven't trailed at half much. It was that overtime thriller here against Utah State when Tyler Less hit that big 27-footer to force OT. Cal Poly trying to notch a new high water mark. 12 matches the biggest lead for the Mustangs. Nwaba to beat the shot clock. And even he's hitting from the perimeter. That's not his game.
Just knocking down shots off the dribble, one-on-one basketball. And Paul, as you know, Cal Poly has won all 10 games this year when shooting a better field goal percentage than their opponent, and they're doing that here tonight.
But here comes Corey Hawkins, conference leading scorer, is up to 5. Find out if the home team can grab a little bit of momentum before halftime. Hawkins contesting on the perimeter. Nwaba on the crossover. Here comes Hawkins again. Down by a dozen. What a pace by the Mustangs. Blocked again by Awich and saved off of Monson's foot. Nope, it'll stay with UC Davis.
Corey Hawkins again working his way to the lane. He draws the help. See that last second? If he wants to, he can dish it to Fox. But not a bad attempt, a better defensive play from the Mustangs.
3 blocks already for Joel Awich, 1 away from his career high.
Hawkins starting to see a little daylight when he's coming off those ball screens. So if I'm him, I'm looking to keep. Oh, nice pass.
Josh Fox with the quick release on the bounce pass feed to Monson.
He got the high-low action. When he caught the ball high, the defense went up to contest him, and he got it out of his hands quickly.
It'll be a victory for UC Davis to get within single digits before the break. Blocking foul. Bucket counts, and it'll be a foul shot for the senior Malik Love.
Malik Love says he wants no part of UC Davis getting within single digits. We've worked hard all half long. Let's finish this thing off strong. Nice drive. He's up in the air before the defender is set. Now he's at the line.
Well, he struggled this year, but Monson loses it out of bounds and saves it off of Fox. Mustangs by a dozen. It's been the Bennett and Love show. Both on pace for career best. Difference between shot clock and game clock there, as you see, about 9 seconds. And the Aggies' best offensive player against the Mustangs' best defender, David Nwaba. Hawkins calling his own number.
Big shot. That time the help came. It didn't matter. He was still able to finish.
No timeout by Calero. Trusting Shipley. So the Mustangs can't add to it before the break, but what a start for Joe Calero's team, the best defensive team in the Big West, scoring 40 in the first half.
Interesting half. They played some of their better basketball of the season, but you have to believe Corey Hawkins and UC Davis is going to get it together offensively and make this thing a ball game in the second half.
Our halftime score, Cal Poly 40, UC Davis 30. Let's go to Brendan Fitzgerald and Adrian Brandt from our halftime report. The Bananas and all their friends packed the pavilion, hoping to see UC Davis go to 10-0 at home this season. But Joe Calero and his Cal Poly Mustangs had other ideas here in Davis tonight. Inside the pavilion, I'm Paul Leffler with former Oregon State star Lamar Hurd. And Lamar, this is Big West basketball at its finest. Wide open in this conference this year.
Yeah, Cal Poly's the one that's going bananas, but expect UC Davis to pick it up. Corey Hawkins has to have a better second half than he did in the first half.
Well, they grow it all. 2 great agricultural schools. And how about some great defense from the Mustangs in that first half?
Every time Hawkins caught the basketball, he saw 4 eyes. Help defense was all over the place. And as you know, Paul, good defense leads to good offensive opportunities, and Brian Bennett has taken advantage of all of them. 16 huge points, 7 of 9 from the field. They're not double teaming him anymore. They started off the half doubling him, then they went to the one-on-one, and he made them pay.
Bennett 4 off his season high. Richard has kept UC Davis in at 14 for the senior, but Hawkins, the conference leading scorer, held to just 7 points on 3 of 8 shooting in the first half. They'll head to the other bucket in white here in the second half. UC Davis down by 10 on its home floor. Right off the bat, Hawkins couldn't get it. Kept alive, and another chance thanks to Richard.
Again.
See that block, number 6-0. Cal Poly hasn't lost all year when they end up with more blocks than their opponent.
Great call, and that's exactly what I was going to go to. Even on that last possession, they didn't get the block, but you saw how high that front line got to contest that shot from Hawkins.
Graham on the baseline, stepped out of bounds, and that's only the 2nd turnover of the game for the Aggies. The Mustangs have only given it away twice, too.
Don't know that I've seen a game like that in the first half. Only 3 turnovers combined.
Back on January 10th, this place was packed, and an overtime thriller saw UC Davis knock off Long Beach State, coming from 11 down. They trailed by 14 in this first half, so this would be a new biggest comeback of the year. And they're down a dozen again as Malik Love adds to his season high. 13 points for the senior.
That time Hawkins says, my bad. He failed to box out Love.
Davis, the #1 3-point shooting team in the country. Made 5 of 9 in the first half. Richard stepping back against Bennett and using the window.
Great move on the ground. He dipped that right shoulder just to back up the defender enough to create some space and then tail back on that 1 foot.
Well, he scored 35 once against Southern Illinois Edwardsville. 16 tonight for the 5th-year senior out of Auburn, east of here in the Sierra Nevada foothills. And the turnaround jumper for Awich goes down. Cal Poly shooting better than 60% now for the game. The Mustangs shoot 38% on the year.
And a high degree of difficulty on their last possession, not just because of the move, nice turnaround jump shot, but because there was no movement on the weak side, and Cal Poly still able to score the basketball.
Richard known for all that 3-point shooting, but how about the craftiness here?
You got to be crafty. When you're not the most athletic guy, you're not flying around the rim, you got to get your work done on the ground, and a nice bump off with the right shoulder gave him that separation that he needed to get his shot off.
A little bit of Duncan, a little bit of Nowitzki there. A little hybrid.
Hybrid. That's a good way to put it. Not sure if I'm ready to give him that, and you see.
Another block, but the late whistle on Joel Awich. Avery Johnson's going to go to the line.
Awich goes high for this. And there is some contact, good call. And that's what you want to do. Take it right to the shot blocker. You know he's going to jump, get inside his body, and draw the foul.
Avery Johnson's been great at the line this year, and it stays that way. Speaking of great, the #1 team in women's college basketball faces a tough road test. The undefeated Gamecocks battling the upset-minded Lady Rebels in Oxford. South Carolina Ole Miss Sunday, 4:30 on ESPNU, the home court of college hoops. The deficit 10 for the Aggies on their home floor. The Mustangs have been on fire offensively. Best offensive performance of the season for Joe Calero's squad. Bennett, they'll go to the line.
Wow.
Such patience. Both of these teams play such smart basketball.
A tough break right there for Richard. Reaching in. You're right, Paul. You rarely see those type of defensive miscues from either one of these teams.
Oh, he thought he had help still, didn't he? Hey, look.
I think so, but I mean, that's a shot. You just let Bennett shoot it. He was off balance. If he makes it, oh well, you live with the result, but you don't want to commit the foul in that situation.
17 for Bennett. Mustangs by 11. Hawkins. Here he comes.
Well, I like that look. When he came off the screen, he did a better job coming off shoulder to shoulder, rushing his defender against the screener, and he got the space that he needed.
When he scored 40 at Hawaii, a school record, he had 7 threes in a single half against the Rainbow Warriors. Nawaba rejected. Adenrele came out of nowhere. Now Avery Johnson. Here they come in Davis. Back-to-back threes. Aggies within 5. Is it shaking in here, you know?
Paul, I can barely hear you. We knew that Corey Hawkins would have a better second half than he did in the first half. Comes off with that screen. His defender gets stuck. That's all the airspace that he needs to find a basket. And here, another three-point opportunity. Knocks it down. We got a 5-point ball game.
Early in the second half in Davis, the Big West #1 scorer is starting to bring his Aggies back. Corey Hawkins up to 10 in the game.
Comes off the screen action. Defender gets stuck. The help is late. You don't want to give the best three-point shooter there is that open up a look. And here it looked like UC Davis was beat, but terrific help defense. Goes up high to get it in here. A nice pass to the opposite side of the court where you had a 2-on-1 advantage, and the crowd is going crazy.
Avery Johnson's three set up by the help side block from JT Adenrele, and all of a sudden an 8-1 Aggie run has the home team within 5. UC Davis trailed by as many as 14 in the first half.
Adenrele has given a presence in the paint that UC Davis didn't have a whole lot of in the first half.
Joel Awitz rejected by Adenrele. Penetration by Hawkins. Richard. Fifth three tonight for the senior out of Forest Lake Christian High School.
I like how Hawkins attacked quickly. He didn't allow the help defense to set up. Got to the basket, found his teammate, knocked down three.
A 2-point game. Back to Bennett. Wow, 19 for Bennett, one off his season high. We got 16 minutes to go. You think about a team that shoots the three as well as the Aggies do. And you figure they take them all the time, but they really pick their spots tonight.
That's one reason why they're shooting such a good percentage.
Like that play by Shipley. Didn't mean to cut you off.
Oh, no, you're good, Paul. I mean, that was a terrific play, and the defense is what Cal Poly hangs their hat on.
Shipley blocked him from behind and saved it from going out of bounds. And now Nwaba. An offensive foul on Awitz, the illegal screen. It was Cal Poly by 10 at halftime, but Joe Calero getting a little nervous. That lead for his Mustangs down to 4 in a packed pavilion in Davis. UC Davis trailed by as many as 14, but the #1 three-point shooting team in the nation is a lot more than just Corey Hawkins.
Well, there's 3 of 3 this half from the line that started off with Hawkins, but then he started spreading the love to his teammates, and Richard knocking down yet another 3, his 5th of the game.
That ties a season high, but he made 7 of them against Long Beach State last year. 8 of 12 from beyond the arc for UC Davis tonight. And there's another guy who can shoot it. Tyler Less, the coach's son, back in the ballgame to inbound.
Well, so far this half, the ball screen action a lot more effective for UC Davis than it was in the first half.
Oh, and how about Adenrele's presence on the defensive end and the offensive end? Adenrele can pull UC Davis within 1.
Great play call by Jim Less. He knows that his team has been shooting the ball well from the perimeter, so Cal Poly comes out, guarding everybody behind the three-point line, but they forget about the big man down in the paint.
A big local recruit for Jim Less out of Oakmont High in Roseville, just east of Sacramento. Adenrele has UC Davis back within a point. Boy, did that deficit disappear in a hurry. 16-7 Aggies since halftime. For the Mustangs, you go back to Bennett. How do you attack?
They just had him there on the slip.
Yeah, they did.
So maybe involve him in some more ball screen action and see how the Aggies defend it.
There's Bennett. Waiting his turn, blocked by Richard, but it wasn't all ball.
Good call. There was some contact there. And Cal Poly had him twice. And the first time he was more open than this time, but here, Hawkins goes by, and Richard is the one who gets him on the way down.
And that was the key, right? It wasn't about the touch. It was about the fact that he was up in the air as Bennett ties a season high with his 20th point tonight. Coming up Sunday on ESPNU, Player of the Year candidate DeLon Wright leading #11 Utah. Tough road game against the Trojans of USC. Utah at USC Sunday 2:30 on ESPNU. The home court of college hoops.
After losing to UCLA earlier this week, Utah has to win that game against USC if they want a chance at winning a Pac-12 title.
That was a big win for Steve Alford. It's been a rough stretch at Poly this year. Cal Poly won at Poly Pavilion a couple years ago. The hero of that game, Kyle Ottistor, is here tonight on UC Davis's alumni night. Bennett up to a season-high 21, and now a turnover.
That time Cal Poly switched to a bit of a 1-3-1 look.
Love gets rid of it to Shipley. David Nwaba's been quiet for the Mustangs tonight, just 2 points. He draws the foul on Monson. Jim Less has had some nail-biters in this building this year. And some thrillers. Overtime wins here over Utah State and Long Beach State.
And his hope is that those games prepared him for this moment.
Mustangs by 3. Shipley trying to double it, and he does.
Aggies showed a zone look, and Coach Les is not happy with his team.
They got within 1, but now down 6. And a whistle away from the ball. Rich Shipley's been a facilitator today, but he's not afraid to pull the trigger.
And Coach Les is saying somebody has to get out to that corner. Is that it? What kind of celebration is that exactly?
Well, he's from Carrollton, Texas. I don't know if that's the guns up or what.
Well, no, I'm from Houston, Texas, and I haven't seen that one yet. So that's a little new, but when you knock down a big shot like that, you can do what you want.
A rare display of offensive rebounding for UC Davis, which has been owned on the glass tonight. And Corey Hawkins finds Fox. Johnson in the corner. Oh, what a block by Nwaba. Another opportunity for the Aggies.
That block looked personal.
Fox. Shot clock. Couldn't get it.
Tough break for the Aggies. They had a few open looks, passed them up, and a huge block.
When you have that many chances and you don't get anything, it seems like it hurts more. Nwaba dishing. It's been Bennett's night, but he couldn't get that roll. Plenty of time left for a potent offensive UC Davis club. And the 3 will not count. Moving screen.
Jim Les is wanting the 3 to count.
Yeah, it wasn't a moving screen. They called Nwaba trying to fight to the screen. Here's the play. There's Monson. And they saw Nwaba grabbing his jersey.
And Jim Les is saying, well, the shot was released before the foul was called. And if that's the case, the 3 should be good.
Oh, you know it would have counted on the playground, right?
Oh, definitely.
No impact on the play. But it's a foul on David Nwaba here. Neither team with any kind of foul trouble. How about some 3 trouble? Monson got it back in.
Mustangs went zone on that inbounds, and it's tough to box out. You don't have individual responsibility when you're in a zone defense and a shot goes up.
Shipley misfires, rebound to Hawkins. Aggies down 4. Corey Hawkins bringing this building to life. The Aggies haven't caught the Mustangs yet, but that's the second time in the second half that they've turned it all the way down to 1.
And Hawkins had 3 on his mind the entire way down the court. Puts the ball in that left hand and gets that space. He's so tough to defend because a big guy does not have the foot speed to hedge out on him consistently and turn him back. And if you don't do it, he will make you pay.
And where he launched that one from would have been worth 3 where he might be playing next year.
Don't be surprised if we see him at the next level. You know, talking to Coach Jim Les and even Corey earlier today, Corey has aspirations of playing at that level, but he says he wants to take care of business here first. After leaving Arizona State, he could have had his pick as to which school he went to, but he said he wants to come here and turn this place into something special, and so far he has.
Well, how about that guy who wears blue and gold in Northern California? Steph Curry, mid-major program, one of the nation's leading scorers. He didn't shoot the 3 as well as Hawkins did.
And the only comparison is not that they're both light-skinned, okay? They both shot that basketball, but as you just pointed out, Corey Hawkins better percentage-wise than Steph Curry. And Steph Curry went through a lot of the same things when he was in college, as you see Hawkins going through, where people think he's too small, not athletic enough. Hey, when you can shoot that 3 ball the way that those guys shoot it, you get him a chance.
Well, and both of them had fathers who were excellent NBA marksmen in Del Curry and Hersey Hawkins, and Corey may be following in his dad's footsteps. It's a 1-point game. Big West basketball at its best. Mustangs by a point in Davis. Cal Poly trying to hand UC Davis its first home loss of the season, has a 1-point lead with 11:55 to go. But the dream of the 2015 college football playoff starts with National Signing Day. ESPNU's 11 hours of coverage will feature reporters at 16 college campuses, live player announcements, including 6 of the top 10 players. One of them, Snoop Dogg's kid, Cordell Broadus from the Gales of Bishop Gorman High in Las Vegas. Where do you think he's going, Lamar?
Oh, man.
Which one of those two would you pick?
Oh, you got to go with the national champion, don't you? You got to ride a hot hand, I would think.
Can't argue. ESPNU's National Signing Day special presented by Northwestern Mutual coming up Wednesday, 8 a.m.
Oh, boy, you can't lose going with either one of those guys.
The steal by Corey Hawkins and UC Davis, which hasn't led since the first 5.5 minutes of the game, has a chance to end that drought right here. 14:30 left on the first half clock is the last time the Aggies were in front. Did Hawkins step out of bounds? Yes, he did. Back to the Mustangs.
Tough break. Because Hawkins drew 4 defenders throughout the course of that play. Came off with 2 different screens. And if he was able to keep his footing, he would have found an open teammate.
It's going to be interesting to watch signing day. Cordell Broadus, just one of the top players in the country who hasn't decided yet. And his high school coach is now the coach for the UNLV Rebels, Tony Sanchez. 1-point game in Davis. Brian Bennett already a season-high 21. Gets it out of the double team. Shot clock at 10 for Shipley. Harwich on Fox. Josh Fox grabbed him as Harwich went into that jump stop.
UC Davis has made the adjustment defensively against Bennett. Only 5 points this half, but he's getting double teamed. And when he kicks it out, his shooters have to be ready to shoot the ball before it gets to them.
The patient Mustangs find Harwich, and the big man delivers from distance.
Good looking shot from Harwich. Great elevation. Good arc on the ball, high release.
He's their most improved player. He's really come on in conference play. And now Nawaba knocked it away from Hawkins. An opportunity in transition. Shipley. Harwich pushed off against the board. You know, we have not had a single fast break point by either team tonight. 0 for both the Aggies and the Mustangs.
Pretty good defensive transition from both teams throughout the course of the game.
Joe Calero, one of 16 children. He's number 8 on the list. When you talk about glass half full or glass half empty, he said he's either the baby of the first 8 or the elder statesman of the bottom half.
He uses it to his favor depending on the situation.
Grew up in Seattle. Josh Fox, born in Fiji, misses the front end of the 1-and-1.
Cal Poly, they can get the ball down to Bennett. It doesn't have to be the score. Just allow him to track that double team and then play 5 against 4 from there.
Mustangs with their best offensive performance of the season so far. Still way above 50% for the game from the floor. Bolden with the shot clock winding down will have to force it up. Shot clock violation, back to the Aggies.
Good defensive stand by the Aggies. They were active on the perimeter. They did a good job hedging on ball screens. Guards did a good job fighting over the screens. And for Cal Poly, where do you go now? As we mentioned, Bennett's being double teamed. You can still get him the basketball, but if you don't, somebody else has to step up and make a play on the perimeter.
Aggies down by 4. Tyler West back in, another guy who can drain from range. Corey Hawkins with a rare breather on the Aggie bench.
Good hands.
And Love comes out of there with it.
Great hands from Bolden to get that basketball stripped away.
Alex Abrams trying to post up a Denverly. Love with the left. And a Denverlay comes out of there with it. Who's going to score for the Aggies with Hawkins on the bench?
Denverlay's had a good start to his second half.
The board to Abrams after the banker wouldn't fall. The Aggies have had some opportunities, some crucial possessions where they've come up empty here in the second half. Shipley, the sophomore. Backs it out against Graham. Bolden gets his own rebound. And Cal Poly is so tenacious. UC Davis has worked hard to even out the rebounding disparity we saw in the first half, but a lot of opportunities on this possession for the Mustangs. Shot clock in single digits again. Love's going to have to put it up. And he beats the buzzer. That ties a career high for Malik Love. 16 points for the senior. And look at those Mustangs again, Lamar, back up 6.
Tough sequence for the Aggies. You have to defend a full shot clock. The first time out, they get the offensive rebound, and you have to defend another one. And they enter the basket.
Bennett gets his hands on that one. Bennett, a junior, Love, a senior, leading the charge for the Mustangs, who lead by 6 on the road in Davis. The Cal Poly Mustangs took the Big West tournament by storm last year, and tonight in the sold-out pavilion at UC Davis, the Mustangs are trying to shake up the conference standings. UC Davis came into the day tied for first with Long Beach State and UC Irvine, but Corey Hawkins, the senior star of the Aggies and the conference's leading scorer, has had to work hard for his 13 tonight.
Well, he's back now. He was on the bench before the break. Now he's back. He's already hit 2 threes this half, and with 7:38 left to go, you have to believe he's going to do everything he can to lead his team to victory.
Tyler Less, another three-point specialist. Richards already made 5 of them tonight from downtown, but here's Hawkins driving baseline. David Nawaba picks up his 3rd personal. Hawkins will have the 1-and-1, and he's feeling that one.
Well, I like the move he made. He attacked the big and sidesteps him on the jump, and it got him right there in that thigh, looked like. Right above the knee.
Yeah, the big knee of Alex Abrams left an impression on Corey Hawkins, who you might imagine would shoot the free throws pretty well. 81% on the season, and he earns a second. Cal Poly has gotten a season-high 21 from Brian Bennett, 15 from the senior Malik Love, who hadn't scored in double digits all season until tonight. Hawkins strokes them both. And the Aggies are back within 4 for Coach Jim Less. I'm sure people tell you look like you could still play, Lamar, but doesn't Jim Less look like he could still go out in an NBA shootout?
He does. And that shot doesn't go away.
The shot's been there for Brian Bennett tonight, but he turns it over against the double team. Hawkins, the 5th-year senior, finds a way.
If the bigs don't turn him back, he will be able to turn that corner.
17 for Hawkins, who only had 7 in the first half. A 2-point game with 6:45 left. And Hawkins commits the foul. The second on Corey Hawkins.
When Hawkins comes off of ball screens, you want to protect against the shot, first of all. But again, he's attacking a big guy, and there's Brian Bennett, does not have the foot speed to keep up with him, and it enables Hawkins to turn that corner with a nice floater. And we talked about the diversity in his game. He can shoot the 3-point shot, but he also can get to the basket and finish in a variety of ways.
That one looked effortless. That one was a little Curry-esque. Bennett on the baseline. boxing with his back to the basket. And a deep three from Bolden. Almost the putback from Nwaba. Again, Aggies have not caught the Mustangs in the second half after trailing by 10 at halftime. Richard for the lead. Only his second miss from downtown.
Well, Jim Les wanted that shot about 3 seconds earlier. He wanted the play to happen in transition because it's much more difficult to defend a pick-and-pop situation as the ball is flowing down the court.
Nwaba difficult to defend. He'll end up at the foul line. That foul is on Richard, and it's his fourth. Richard's been the leading scorer in the game for the Aggies with 19, and now he's in foul trouble. And as you saw, it's been a while since the Aggies have lost at home. Hasn't happened this season. 11 months since that happened, and with their first sellout of the season, these folks don't want to see it happen tonight. Mustangs by 3. Nwaba with only 3 when he averages 13. Is that just the way the game's gone, the other hot hands, or have the Aggies done something to take him away?
Well, it is the way the game's gone. Brian Bennett has been the person who's gotten the looks, and he's capitalized on them. And, of course, with Nwaba, he's the guy that's first on the Aggie scouting report to take away. And here you see the 1-3-1 defense results in a foul on the back line.
Bennett picks up his third. It's going to be a 1-and-1 for Adenrele.
See Adenrele trying to post up, and Bennett just gives enough of a nudge to move him off of his position.
So J.T. Adenrele, a muscular junior out of Roseville, just east of here. A guy who's improved at the line over his UC Davis career. Couldn't get the front end. The Mustangs have gone cold on this side of the floor. They haven't scored in nearly 3 minutes of action. At least not with a field goal. Got Nwaba's free throw. That's it.
They're playing a lot of one-on-one basketball. Not a lot of movement on the weak side.
Nwaba. Back to Shipley. Shot clock winding down. The deep one. Big one for Shipley.
That's just one-on-one. I have enough space to let this thing go, and I'm going to knock it down.
Well, he hit maybe the biggest shot in Cal Poly history last year to send him to the NCAA for the first time in Division I. That was a big one there. Stretches the lead back to 6 with 4:40 left. Hawkins trying to answer.
I think it's right on target, didn't it?
Yep, but Adenrele gets him another chance. Now, Jim Les is leaving Richard in the game with those 4 fouls. He's been guarding Bennett. If you're the Mustangs, do you try to exploit that?
Without question, you do.
Here's Richard. Darius Graham, a rare shot, and he makes it count.
That was made possible because when Graham came off the screen, the defender, Bennett, did not want to leave Richard, who's already knocked down 5 3-point shots.
4 minutes to play in regulation. Shipley's hit 3 big threes for the Mustangs. And there's that matchup. Bolden. And Bennett didn't see that air ball coming. .500 strong in Davis, hoping Jim Les's Aggies can come back against the Mustangs. Cal Poly marching to the beat of its own drum on the road in Davis. 61-57 Mustangs lead because of an outstanding first half for Joe Calera's team on both ends.
They got it going defensively, and that's where they hang their hat on the defensive end. And Brian Bennett played out of his mind. 15 points in the first half. Knocked down some jump shots. Also got a little jump hook going right there. But then Corey Hawkins was able to turn his play up. Finds a teammate right there, Richard with a nice 3. And then with Hawkins, when he has the basketball, do not leave him until he gives it up. Otherwise, he'll bury a three like that one.
The number one three-point shooting team in the nation has made 9 out of 17, but still trails on its home floor. Hawkins up to 17. He averages 23 a game in conference play. Every time I look at his scoring average, I'm thinking about how hard it was for his father to average 36 a game.
Tell me about it.
That's why he was picked number 6 overall coming out of Bradley. Was Hersey Hawkins, his son, works it into Richard. Turning against Bennett, couldn't get it. Brian Bennett up to 7 boards now to go with his season high 21 points. Haven't the Mustangs done a tremendous job of working the clock all game long?
They have, and that's what they do. They'll take the time. They'll be opportunistic if something presents itself, and that is just a good move. Again, one-on-one, not a lot of motion. He dribbles down to a spot, gets the angle on the glass, banks it in.
And that matches a career best for the former Plainfield East Bengal out of the Chicago area. Brian Bennett scored 23 once against Loyola Marymount. He's done it tonight in Davis. And here's a whistle. In the bonus, UC Davis will get free throws for Darius Graham.
That time the Aggies go to a dribble handoff action in hopes that Cal Poly maybe switches or gets hung up. Graham able to turn the corner.
Double bonus now. Graham gets the first. There have been some tremendous games in this conference this year.
There have been.
Overtime games left and right. Graham gets them both. A 4-point game with 2:44 to go. And what a clean game. Cal Poly's only turned it over 5 times. The Aggies just 6. Awich had an extra step. I shouldn't have talked about turnovers, I guess.
He got to a spot, planted his feet, picked up the pivot foot. And for Cal Poly, you got to say, forget about that play. We're still up for it. Let's get another defensive stop.
Corey Hawkins with his own putback.
The guy who shoots it knows that it's short before anybody else does. Quick double jump from Hawkins.
19 for Hawkins. His Aggies within 2 at the 2-minute mark. David Nwaba to the rim.
All created by the post and the seal of Bennett. When Nwaba put the ball on the floor, Bennett's man is the one who's supposed to help. But he was stuck on Bennett's back.
And Hawkins draws the foul on Bennett. That'll be his 4th.
Hawkins does a good job getting to the lane. And as soon as he released it, he knew it was short. And a quick double jump allowed him to tip that thing in. And here, you see Richard, he's got to help on that, but he's so occupied by Bennett. Bennett does a good job just holding the seal.
And now Bennett and Richard both playing with 4 fouls. Both will be left in. Could be a factor if this does make it to overtime. Now Richard comes out with a Den relay. They might switch offense and defense the rest of the way. And still a 3-point Mustang lead.
A big miss from Hawkins. Every free throw is so critical right now.
Rich Shipley complaining that the ball was wet, but Ian Caldwell said, hey, they have to play with that same ball. Keep dribbling. 1:20 to go.
No need to rush if you're the Mustangs, and if you're Hawkins, you don't want to commit a silly foul on the perimeter.
Rich Shipley couldn't get it. A Den relay gives the Aggies a chance to tie.
Jim Les wants to talk this thing over.
What more did you want? You have the number one three-point shooting team in America with 1:09 left. What do the Aggies need?
You got Paul Leffler on the play-by-play, so you know the game's going to have a dramatic finish. And here, if you're Jim Les, you're telling your team, we don't have to go for 3. Expect them to run a lot of action, a lot of ball screen, maybe some dribble handoffs, hoping to expose Cal Poly on the perimeter defensively. But if something opens up and they get an open look at 3, you better believe they're going to take it.
Well, here's what's at stake. UC Davis has already set a record during the Division I era with 15 wins, but if the Aggies want to stay tied for the conference lead, they need a win here after Long Beach State beat Hawaii down at the Walter Pyramid earlier today. UC Irvine playing at home against UC Santa Barbara as we speak. And for Cal Poly, trying to get a little better seeding so that tournament run doesn't have to be too insane like it was last year.
Yeah, you know, they want to win every game they can. And still in the game on the road is huge.
Joe Calero has led this team to some high water marks. He was really hoping that his mentor, Dean Nicholson, a Hall of Fame coach at Central Washington, where Joe was a point guard and lives in the Bay Area now, was hoping Dean could be here tonight. We know Dean's watching at home, and we'll see if Joe can throw him a bone.
Corey Hawkins starting off the basketball. Now he has it.
Nwaba trying to check him. Richard, his 6th of the game, and we're tied with under a minute to go. A season-high 22 points for the senior from Auburn, California.
Most programs in that situation say, let's just get the 2. We're at home. A lot of more possessions left. But when you're the best three-point shooting team in the country, you draw up a play for a guy that's already made 5 three-point shots in Richard, and he knocks down the 6th.
Well, he was hungry. He didn't play the last game against UC Santa Barbara. He was ready tonight. I think he was hungry for some of that great pizza they serve in Old Town Auburn, where he's from, in the Sierra Nevada foothills. The 6'9" senior with his 6'3" gives the Aggies 10 free balls in the game. They're making sure his foot was behind the line. But if that stands, Lamar, that's the 9th different game this year that Jim Les has seen his guys make 10 threes. That's ridiculous.
And we talked about this. You hope that the games that you've gone through before, the close games, the comeback against Long Beach State here at home, prepares you for these moments. And we never saw, as you get another look at the feet of Richard here, I mean, he's clearly, I hope this is not about whether or not his foot was on the line, because I know my eyesight is a little questionable. But
they were checking the time to make sure the clock was right. Yeah, he was. His shoes aren't that big. Well, let's talk about time as Jim Les is with his team, Lamar, because with 51.5, is Cal Poly going to try to get a 2-for-1 here?
That all comes down to how much trust Coach Calero has in his squad. They've been defending pretty well overall, but as we've seen in the second half, the Aggies have gotten it going offensively. So maybe you say, we're not going to go 2-for-1. We're just going to work for the best shot whenever that comes, and then we'll hang our hat on that defensive end and get one last stop if that's what we have to do.
65 apiece in a building that has already seen UC Davis produce overtime victories over Utah State of the Mountain West and Big West powerhouse Long Beach State. That's what we were talking about. 9th time this year that former NBA three-point specialist Jim Les has watched his Aggies follow in his footsteps.
Cal Poly with several options on this possession. Shipley's played well. Bennett has been terrific. And Nwaba with a nice dunk in his last possession.
If the Aggies foul here away from a shot, it would be a 1-and-1 for Cal Poly. Bonus situation that way, double bonus the other way. Bennett. And Shipley open for 3. What an offensive rebound for Nwaba, and now the shot clock is turned off. That's a different kind of 2-for-1.
Not how Coach Calero drew it up, but the ideal situation. You get one attempt at it. If it doesn't work, let's just get the rebound and reset, and now we're going to take the last shot of regulation.
Can we just change the name of the conference from the Big West to the bonus basketball? I mean, it's overtime all the time in this league.
We might as well.
And here's Nwaba.
Well, they got the double team. And you had an open look, pass it up. Shipley misses it, but Nwaba comes away with the basketball. And just how we saw an offensive rebound on that possession, be careful of one here, because the shot should go up around 4-3 seconds. And you still have to secure a rebound if it's a miss if you're the Aggies.
Are you going into Bennett as the answer or the setup man?
Well, the thing is, even on the last possession, the action that they ran, having the Waba come off with a downswing from Bennett, once the Waba caught the basketball, Bennett had a pass over the top. But due to the pressure that the Aggies are providing on the perimeter, Cal Poly wasn't able to get it in. So if they run that play again and it's open, throw it up to the big fella. Let him go get it and let him operate.
Now, the Aggies have forced overtime with their offense. In that Utah State game, it was Tyler Less from 27 feet at the top of the key to beat the buzzer and send him to the extra session. This time, the Aggies are hoping to force overtime with their defense. Cal Poly, not a team that's going to give it to you. Second in the nation in taking care of the basketball.
UC Davis has talked about wanting to be a defensive team as well as an offensive team. Here's your chance to make your imprint.
15 seconds left in the pavilion. Tied at 65. Waba knows how to get to the bucket. Awich. Overtime in Davis.
Wow.
UC Davis down by 10 at halftime, trailed by 14 in the first half, earns 5 more minutes at the pavilion. Five minutes on the clock, ready for the first overtime at the pavilion in Davis. No stranger to this crowd. They needed the defensive stop. The Mustangs ended up with a good look.
That's wide open. And a breakdown from the Aggies. They were very fortunate that that ball didn't go through the net.
Joel Awich had the open look and just maybe had a little too much adrenaline there, shot a little past it. So the Mustangs have overtime for the second time this year. They went to Hawaii and beat the Rainbow Warriors on the road in OT. UC Davis has played 2 overtime games here, knocking off Stu Morrill and Utah State. And then Player of the Year candidate Mike Caffey and Long Beach State in this building. So here we go. All kinds of implications. And keep in mind that foul situation, Lamar. The 2 top players either way tonight, the 2 leading scorers in the game, both playing with 4 fouls, and Richard and Bennett.
Great call. And I think for Cal Poly, if they lose Bennett, that hurts them a little bit more than it hurts UC Davis if they lose Richard. Even though Richard has shot the ball extremely well, made the big 3 to tie the game up, with UC Davis, you still have Corey Hawkins out on the floor.
The last time UC Davis led was 5.5 minutes into the game. Mustangs took the lead at that point, have not surrendered it. But the Aggies find themselves in overtime. And Awich, who's also playing with 4 fouls, wins the tip. Avery Johnson's done a good job on the Waba. And that one rolls in. Awich's finger did not touch it.
Great discipline from Awich because it looked like he was going to get his hands on that basketball.
Mustangs by 2 in overtime. Richard working on Awich, the shot blocker, and it's all falling for Mike Richard. 24 for the senior. We're tied again.
Great move from Richard, and he's going against limited resistance because that Cal Poly front line does not want to foul out of the game.
Shipley left open. And another offensive rebound. You hear Jim West slamming the table. He's tired of seeing those.
Right now, when the shot's going up, the Aggies are all running to the rim rather than running to their man to box out.
Big rebound for Darius Graham off the miss by Bennett. Only the 4th miss of the night. He's 9 for 13. Career high time, 23 points. Fox open. And Josh Fox finishes at the rim. There it is. First lead for the Aggies since the first 5.5 minutes. Bennett on Richard, both with 4 fouls. And Bennett ties things up again. This is like one of those heavyweight 12-rounders. Bennett with a career-high 25 points on 10 of 14 shooting.
I guess the next time we do these guys' games, we got to spotlight the front line. Good pass from Corey Hawkins, but Fox with a nice finish absorbs a little contact. And this isn't an easy move. We know Richard, the defender, has 4 fouls, but that's terrific footwork from Bennett and a nice right-hand jump hook over that left shoulder.
Nice follow through with that right hand, because that's when you leave it short. When you don't follow through, you're fading away, and you saw those fingertips extend.
Great call. You snap that wrist on a jump hook, just like you do on a jump shot.
Jim Les and his UC Davis Aggies, already a historic season for a program that joined the Big West, finished its transition into Division I for the 2007-2008 season. Has never been to the Division I tournament. Bob Williams won a national championship here on the Division II ranks in 1998. And that year's Davis team was unbeaten at home, just like the Aggies are this year at 9-0. Tied at 69 with 3:24 to go.
Cal Poly in a 1-3-1 defensive look.
Forces the turnover. Nawaba against Graham. And it finally goes down.
That's going to make Jim Les upset, because you know as well as I do, in shoot around this morning, they worked extensively on the 1-3-1.
And that was the first fast break points of the entire ball game by either team. Johnson left open for the lead.
And as they worked on attacking the 1-3-1, Jim Les said, let's get the basketball to the corners. That's where the shots would come from.
Look at all the big shots from UC Davis in this game, and you'll find a common thread. Avery Johnson there, a fifth-year senior. Josh Richard, fifth-year senior, and of course Corey Hawkins, fifth-year senior.
Dribble penetration, they forced the defense to converge into the paint, and a wide-open look.
UC Davis by a point with 2:51 to go. And Joe Calero doesn't look any different than he did at the start of the game. He's not rattled by this. Talk about the #1 3-point shooting team in the nation. Better than average tonight.
So tough to defend. At any moment, they could put 5 guys on the floor who can shoot the three-point shot above 40%.
And that guy's a difference maker, because he's the defensive specialist. And now he's got 8 points where you don't expect it from.
And that's all bonus. It's icing on the cake when you get the offensive punch from him.
Brian Bennett has played a career game, the 6'9" junior with 25 points, playing with 4 fouls. His team down a point. Nawaba had it knocked loose, no whistle.
Great help defense from Corey Hawkins. The Cal Poly coaching staff is saying that Hawkins raked the player across the arm. Nice pass from Hawkins and a better finish from Fox.
Great discipline by Fox. He could have rushed it, but trusted himself and used that left hand. Aggies ahead by 3. Bennett trapped. The wild try doesn't go.
Joe Calero on the baseline in the referee's ear, wanting the call.
Hawkins trying to play closer. Gets the roll. 5-point lead with 1:38 to go. We're getting a taste of why the Aggies have not been beaten in this building this year.
You have to do a good job on ball against Corey Hawkins, but we're going to get a look at him on the defensive end first, because when we talked to him this morning, he said, I know I can score the basketball, but I want to be known as a quality defender. And a great pass here to Fox, and as you pointed out, the discipline from Fox to be patient going up. And here's the float game. Up, up, and away.
What did Jim Les say was the difference for Corey Hawkins last year to this year? I think he used the words well-rounded. You just showed us some evidence there.
You see the diversity in his game, the maturity. to have the tough first half that he had and to be able to put that aside and answer the call when his team needs it most is impressive.
22 points, 4 assists, 3 steals for the senior Corey Hawkins. His Aggies a minute 38 seconds away from 6-1 and still tied for the Big West lead. And on the other side, Joe Calero. Your team has hit some big buckets tonight. Bennett's been the leader, down 5 with a minute 38. You pounding it in, or you're trying to set up the perimeter game?
Yeah, you pound it in, and they've done it the last few possessions, and Coach Calero has felt that his big guys have gotten fouled. They haven't gotten a call. So maybe if you keep going back to it, you put the refs in a tough situation and force them to blow the whistle.
Last year's Big West tournament was ridiculous, with the Mustangs knocking off the Gauchos and the Anteaters and the Matadors. You can only imagine how exciting it's going to be this year in this conference.
Get your tickets, folks.
Just the individual stars. How about this atmosphere? They cranked it up in overtime. Just waiting for the Aggies to get a lead again. Mustangs down 5. Awich.
Wow.
Big one.
Wow. They didn't even have to go for 3 on that possession, but it sure does help when you have a player that is not afraid to rise up at a crucial moment and knock it down.
Especially when he just shot an air ball that would have won the game at the end of regulation.
Short memory. As you know, the best shooters, the best players, they forget about what happened, whether good or bad. Never get too high, never get too low, because you never know when your next opportunity is coming.
Beautiful stroke from Joel Awich. He's up to 10 in the game. The Mustangs within 2. A minute 22 to go. You know, I mentioned that neither one of these teams had lost in overtime. You know what else hasn't happened?
What's that?
Neither team's made it to double overtime.
Are you saying you want more basketball?
Why wouldn't you?
I mean, I think, well, this crowd doesn't want it, not unless they know it's going to result in a win. They love the way their team has fought back and gotten to this game and taken the lead, and they want to try to finish this thing off. But you know, Cal Poly has other plans, and being one of the best defensive teams in the conference, you got to believe they're going to be confident on this defensive stand.
3 undefeated teams out of 24 D1 schools in the state of California. Steve Fisher and the Aztecs got it done at Viejas today against Utah State. Coach Munson and Long Beach State took care of Hawaii. And now the Aggies trying to stay in that mix. Make sure they stay unbeaten. Speaking of unbeatens, earlier today, Virginia suffered its first loss of the year at the hands of Duke. The one thing we haven't seen a lot of in this game are turnovers. See how much pressure the Mustangs put on the Aggies here. Still have a couple of 1-and-1s at their disposal. The other way.
No matter what the shot is that the Aggies take, the Mustangs have to box out to secure the rebound.
Corey Hawkins, 5th-year senior. Finds Fox.
What a pass from Corey Hawkins. On the screen, he had a roll-up guy in Richard, who's already knocked down 6 threes. He paused and allowed Fox to kick towards the basket, and a big-time finish.
That was a gutsy pass. Fox made it count. Mustangs down 4. Running out of time. Fox nearly stole it. Shot clock down to 5. Bennett and 1.
Oh, no. Bad play defensively. If anything, let him have the 2 or foul him where he can't get it up. Nice drive from Shipley. He's been a floor general all game long. And Graham just late to help rotation.
Missed it. Lane violation anyway. I wouldn't have counted had it gone. So still a 2-point game, 30.8 left. For Shipley, that assist was his 7th of the game. That's a new season high, but Joe Calero is just worried about being down 2 with 30.8 to go. And here's the deal. If you foul, it's 2 free throws for UC Davis.
Jim Les getting all his best free throw shooters in the game. For Cal Poly, you will have to foul at some point in this play, but you could spend about 5 seconds going for a steal first.
Tyler Less couldn't get it in, had to take the timeout. Wow. Cal Poly has probably played as good of a game as the Mustangs have had all year. They really battled Gonzaga. Of course, they had the upset win at Hawaii. But Joe Calero's team from the get-go is ready to come in here and win tonight. Let's see what they have left.
Jim Less telling his team, let's secure the basketball. But let's look at this pass, Paul. Hawkins comes off the screen, and he waits to allow Fox to just creep toward the basket. The defender for Cal Poly was stuck in the middle. Do I defend Richard, who's already made 6 3-point shots, or do I take away the basket? And you said it perfectly, a risky, gutsy pass from Hawkins. Hey, he threads that needle.
They've had some great quarterbacks at UC Davis. I think he was channeling Ken O'Brien and J.T. O'Sullivan there with that one.
If he could throw it through the gaps that accurately, then yeah, get out there and give it a shot.
Remember, biggest deficit they've overcome in a win this year was 11 against the 49ers. They were down 14 in the first half, 10 at halftime, now trying to put it away, up 2 in overtime. Richard has to get it in, finds Hawkins. The guy you don't want to foul.
We got to get up and pressure.
Finally, Nawaba fouls Johnson with 20 seconds remaining.
Cal Poly's players, a lack of recognition of time, score, situation. If you're going to let that much time run off the clock, that's okay, but you have to be utilizing that 10 seconds up and pressuring, not laying back off the offensive players.
Johnson perfect tonight. He's only missed twice all season, and he keeps it that way. Here's the biggie. Avery Johnson, fifth-year senior out of Long Beach, started his career in the WCC playing for the Dons of USF. Hoping to seal it. There we go. Mustangs need a 3 to tie. Who do you want taking it, Lamar? Oh, Corey Hawkins with the block, but the Mustangs still have time. Shipley fouled. Was he behind the line or in front of it? He was in front of the line. It'll be just 2 shots for Ridge Shipley. And they called it on Josh Richard, who fouls out of the ball game after scoring 22 for UC Davis tonight.
The ball gets to the guy who I felt should have been taking the shot. And I don't know, Paul.
Well,
it looked
two
like
things.
Yeah.
They called the foul, so maybe you don't call the travel, but that pivot foot slid behind the line. So the line, both feet look like they're behind the line.
Yeah, but you can't reverse the travel.
No, of course not, but you can say it's 3 free throws.
Yeah, you can. And it looked like his feet were behind the line.
And Tony Padilla, the lead official, is looking at it on the monitor right now. Here you go. Watch those feet of Ridge Shipley. That left foot's going to move back before he releases.
Yeah. Spot on. He traveled to get the foot behind the line.
And threw it up left-handed when he's a right-handed player. But he got the contact. That was the difference. So a sellout crowd waiting for Tony Padilla, the referee, to decide whether it's 2 or 3, and it'll be 3 free throws. Shipley, a 79% foul shooter, will have a chance to tie the game right-handed, of course.
To Shipley's credit, not that I think he did this on purpose, but he slid the foot back while Richard was in the air. And that's the time when the official is looking closer at Richard to see if he can miss a foul. Then you are looking at Shipley's foot.
And if you're the referee, Tony Padilla, you're looking at that. You see he clearly traveled, but you can't change that.
Can't reverse that. And no game comes down to one play. A lot of missed calls all throughout the game. And here for UC Davis, you just have to hope he misses a free throw.
And now, a couple of the Aggies walked in the path of Shipley, who's trying to get ready for these foul shots. No technical called. Here's Shipley. Listen to what he's hearing. Now you want to make the second, miss the third?
Correct.
And keep in mind, Cal Poly has had 11 offensive rebounds tonight. 2-point game, 5.5 left in overtime. Jim Les knows how important this rebound is. Neil Monson's going to come in to try to secure it.
It's always hard to intentionally miss this in a way that allows your teammates to get the basketball.
What was your technique?
Close my eyes.
Keep an eye on the two eyes of Ridge Shipley, hoping to miss to give his team a better chance. He makes.
But you got to foul right away.
Now they have to hope for some missed foul shots from UC Davis. And they haven't fouled. There's the foul. Let's see how much time ends up for Joe Calero.
Well, it looked like Shipley was going for a jump ball.
Trying to tie him up.
Which wouldn't have done a whole lot for them because the possession is in UC Davis's favor.
It would only hurt you because of the time that you would lose. Right now the clock says 0.6, but it's going to be changed. They're going to have to fix that. Again, we saw Avery Johnson with a rare miss at the line that gave the Mustangs the chance to tie it with the three. Shipley made 2 out of 3 to make it a 1-point game, and again they'll go to the monitor to check the time.
It's going to be a tough break for Cal Poly. As we just mentioned, they try to go for the jump ball, which is typically a smart play in that situation if you have the arrow, because the offensive team thinks you're going to foul them right away. But if you don't have possession, you have to create the foul on the catch. And already you see a lot of space.
Look at the third defender. Calero was 2 feet on the floor.
Hey, he would foul him if he had the chance to.
It looked like that whistle blew with 2.4 to go. But if you're Avery Johnson, there's no question you want both of these to go in.
I think so. Yeah, you got to make these because you don't want a last-second heave. Whatever shot Cal Poly gets, it's more than likely going to be a 3. And if anything, make that shot, send this game in a double overtime, and then you get your wish, rather than having that shot defeat you.
What a game. Both teams shown so much grit. And Calero hoping Avery Johnson will help him again. 2.6 the adjusted time.
A little blood on the lip of Johnson.
It's a hard foul. Johnson 3 of 4 at the stripe tonight. One of the reasons Jim Les, his team, has won so many close games, an excellent foul shooting team across the board. There it is, 2-point lead.
If you're Cal Poly, you might want to think about putting a guard on the line, because if this shot is missed, you're leaving the last-second heave in the hands of your big guys.
Bennett and Awich down there, and here comes Nawaba, just as Lamar ordered. Josh Richard scored 24 to help the cause tonight. Hit the big one that tied things up late in regulation. Mustangs need a 3 to force double OT. Here's Nawaba from 40 feet. Pavilion pandemonium in Davis. The Aggies stay perfect at home, 10-0, and still tied for the Big West lead. This, the way they had to do it, come back from 14 down in the first half, never lead again until overtime. Maybe the best feel-good win of the year for Coach Les.
Because they had to do it on the defensive end. And we know they're one of the best offensive teams there is in the country, the best three-point shooting team in the country. But they said they want to get a defensive identity, and they have created one tonight.
The Aggies overcome a career game for Brian Bennett. Coach Jim Les and UC Davis defeat Cal Poly 81-78. For Lamar Hurd and our entire ESPN crew, I'm Paul Leffler. Now let's send it to Brendan Fitzgerald and Adrian Branch in the ESPNU Sports Center U studio.